back to the Dorian Finance Podcast. If you're new to my podcast, it's about finance, business, and much more. I'm Dorian. I'm thrilled to be your host. Let's get started right by you following my podcast. It's not what you do that makes you rich, but how you do it that makes you rich. Now, the weekly trading update, which is AMC, GameStop, and then FFIE. My update is both AMC and GameStop. I try to make a profit from it, but I actually set up a stop loss, so it hit the stop loss. So I lost a little bit of money, but in reality, I saved a lot of money because of it went down a lot more. And then FFIE, I actually made a profit from it, and I'm still looking at it once the market opens, and we'll see what next week has for it. And this past week was Memorial Day, and I just want to reflect on the veterans that took the charge and was brave enough to decide to protect our freedom, our country. Thank you very much. And to the veterans still alive, thank you for your service. You are the real heroes of the world. Moving on to the business of social media, the industry of social media. For the sources I'm using, you'll have to go to my blog and you'll be able to find it there. However, the industry of social media is growing at a 14% rate, and it's about $250 billion in revenue. And within the next 10 years, it's supposed to double. Awesome. And then some stats. And I'm only taking the two stats that I look at as a marketer the most. I don't look at income. I don't look at race. I look at age and sex. Those are the two that I really look at. Graph. Go to my website so you can see it, and you'll see what I see, which is YouTube is dominating, Facebook and Instagram are dominating. And what I mean by that is that the saturation of the percent of people in the age ranges that use it are very high. I do see TikTok being very high too, but it's not as saturated as Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. YouTube has a 93% of 18 to 29-year-olds use it, and has a 92% of 30 to 49 years old, and 50 to 64, it's 83%, and then 65 plus, it's 60% use YouTube. That is awesome. That is high. That means that it's starting to become on the mature market side of things. Instagram, which I always thought it was the younger group, which it is the 18 to 29-year-old, 78% use it. And then it drops from 59 to all the way to 15%. Facebook, which I look at as more the older group use it. It actually shows because the highest percentage was the 30 to 49-year-olds use it with a 75%, and then it drops off. Going to TikTok, the 18 to 29-year-olds, it's 62%. I thought that was actually going to be higher than that, but that's surprising. And 30 to 49-year-olds, it's 39%, and then it drops all the way to 10%. But it's surprising to me that TikTok already grew very fast. It's not as established as Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. And because this is a business podcast, I also looked up the stats for LinkedIn, which is actually very impressive, but it's not the size or percentage of people in the age range that use it, but the quality of people that use it. And the highest is the 30 to 49-year-olds, which was about 40%. But again, even though it's very low, it's still very used a lot. And it was besides from YouTube and Facebook, the older generation uses LinkedIn more. And then Reddit, the highest was 44%, which was the 18 to 29-year-olds, and it drops all the way to 3%. Now, moving on to the percentage of the genders, of who uses it most. Facebook, women use it most with a 76%. Instagram is also 54% of women. And then LinkedIn, it switches men with a 31%. And then with YouTube, it's very balanced with a 82 for men and an 83 for women. And then we switch it again to TikTok with 40% women use it and only 25% of men use it, which is an interesting thing. And Reddit with a 27% men and a 17% of females. And those are just stats that I look at of who uses which platform, what age ranges what platform, and what the platform is targeting itself. YouTube, it's very much balanced. Facebook is more the older generation. Which social media platform pays the most in 2024 between YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whichever you want to call. And the only 3 platforms that will pay you directly are YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. And I'm also going to compare revenue that you can make from them, organic views, and then the growth rate that I've seen on my channels and other people's channels and seeing what happens. Let's go 1-to-1, which is YouTube has a very high revenue per 1,000 views, the highest out of the 3 platforms that you can get revenue from. However, if you compare that with its organic views, which is very low, which the organic views, if you upload any type of video on there, if it's a long format video, it get about 10 views. If it's a short, it would get about 100 to 500 views. No matter what it is, it could be very bad, and it has a low growth rate. TikTok revenue is low, and I'll compare that with YouTube in a second. And however, even though you get a low revenue rate, you get a high organic view rate of a minimum of 200 views period, and it will go up higher depending on what you do. It can be between 200 to 1,000 views for any type of video you're doing, and you have a high growth rate. It's, if you listen to my podcast where I talked about my YouTube growth and my TikTok growth, you could see that TikTok was outperforming. Now, Twitter or X, the revenue was very low even compared to TikTok or YouTube, but the organic views was actually pretty decent with about 50 to 200 views no matter what I posted. However, the growth rate was very low. And just to talk about the growth of both Facebook and Instagram was minimum, you get about 10 views on each platform, and the growth rate was very low to non-existent. Now, comparing the revenue versus views, YouTube is the best on revenue, but the views are very low. So then you compare it to TikTok, where the revenue you can make about 10-to-1 versus YouTube, which means for 1,000 views, you'll be making a lot more on YouTube than TikTok, but the organic views on TikTok are 10 times higher. So if you use it as a math formula, it really could balance out, but it's just which platform you prefer, YouTube or TikTok. YouTube been around for the longest, so they have more advertisers, so they can pay out more, but you're going to have to work it a little bit harder. The growth rate is a lot harder on YouTube. And then on Twitter, I honestly am not monetized for it yet. And the people that I've seen post about them having millions of views and only getting like $10 for millions of views, that's just unacceptable at this point. But that's the range of platforms. And in review, if you were going to start from day one, right this second, the platform that pays you the most would be YouTube and would be able to establish you more. TikTok is about the growth rate of moving the people from TikTok to something else would be your strategy, and that's how you would do it. Now, the next 2 topics, I've written over 10,000 words, step-by-step bullet points, lists, tables, and a lot of information on that I'm not going to be able to talk about all of it because I don't want the podcast to go too long. The next topic is how to become a social media manager. I've been a social media manager for about 4 years, managing company accounts, personal accounts, and so on. And I'm going to talk about quite a bit of stuff on it, like what is social media management, what are the benefits of social media, because we already talked about the growth rate and how many people are using it. Let's talk about that as well. Becoming a social media manager, the steps for that, what are the primary responsibility of a social media manager, how does a social media manager measure their success with a campaign, what are the skills necessary for success, how do social media managers handle negative comments or criticisms online, what are the tools and softwares that are commonly used by social media managers, how does a social media manager develop a content schedule, what are the key differences in managing social media for business to business versus business to consumers, that type of thing. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of all those topics. Go to my blog for more in depth. What is a social media manager or management? Is the process of creating, scheduling, analyzing, engaging with posted content on social media platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, any other platform that the company wants you to post an update on. What are the benefits of social media? Number one is increased brand awareness, customer engagement, cost-effective marketing, meaning that say you have a Facebook, a X, those type of platforms, your customers are using them, you can post on that, your new menu, your new idea, or even ask for feedback, which increases your engagement, and you build it once and the customer can potentially see your post for years to come versus posting it on a newspaper ad or something like that, where the potential viewer only sees it once. That's why it's effective marketing. And then market insights, you can also drive traffic and sales. Say that you have a restaurant and you just came out with a new meal, or let's say a food kit or lunch special. You can talk about that on there and you can drive sales. Or say that you're doing delivery now, you can drive sales saying about that. And social media, a lot of people use it. So not only do you expose yourself to your normal client base, but you can expose yourself to other people's bases, and then a competitive advantage because you're able to monitor what other people do and you can copy them that are in the same industry as you, and say that your competitors don't use social media and you do, you will actually look better as long as you do it right to potential partners because you're actually doing more branding and stuff than your competitors. It also builds brand loyalty and trust with your customers to the point that say that you do normal posts and someone badmouths you, it's not only your social media manager that will come to your defense, but even loyal customers that will comment being like, dude, you're whack or something like that because of the brand and loyalty that you've created for your company. Your customers will literally help you too. And then last two things, benefit of social media is content distribution. Say that you have a new sale going on, you post it on that so that people can see it and that potential, oh, it's a sale, so that your customers will actually tag other people that don't even shop there. Oh, hey, let's go to here and shop. And you potentially just got new sales, and there's networking and partnership opportunities with social media as well. Becoming a social media manager step by step. Number one is leveling up your skills. You need to learn how to use social media, but also you need to have the skills of project management, organization ability, strong communication, copyright skills, adapting to new platforms, the ability to work independently and part of a team, and aligning your content strategy with the organizational objectives, and being able to review your social media calendar or their calendar of what you want to post to help effectively drive engagement and sales to the social media market and to drive sales back to the company, and be able to monitor the performance of past posts and develop a strategy of engagement and increasing your next post and being able to collaborate with influencers. Step 2, be proficient at using the social media platforms and market analysis. Many different platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, YouTube all have built-in analytics tools and have built-in many different features that you must know how to use and be able to use them proficiently. And you also have to be able to adjust the pictures and videos to the platforms so they all come out looking correctly and at their best. Step 3, get work experience. Best way of building your social media management skills is real world situations. As a teenager, I started working with my father's online marketing company, first learning how to record videos, then learning how to edit videos, then learning how to do social media and so on. How I would start all over again is creating social media content for myself on topics that interest me and my future clients. To get more experience, you might want to decide on working for free, and that'll allow you to learn more about your clients, and then eventually you can start charging your clients as a freelancer to build up your portfolio. Step number 4, developing a portfolio. And in the show notes, I have a link to a video of an example of my portfolio of video creating. Whether you choose to work as an in-house for a company or a freelancer, building your portfolio is critical, and creating a one-page portfolio sheet that briefly explains your experience, provides an overview of your best content, bringing analytics to it, and outlining your strategy approach, maybe even client testimonials, and then ending with your pitch offer as well. Step number 5, market yourself to potential clients. That I'm not going to go over that much. You can look at my blog post or contact me directly for that. Thank you for listening to the Dorian Finance Podcast. Follow me for part 2, which will be on content creator. What's the difference of a content creator? The sub jobs of a content creator as well, and much, much more. Thank you for listening. Follow me for more.